that is not something you can do, and I know that because I can't believe I'm telling you this. I have tried it. G'day GQ, it's Robert Irwin here. Today I'm going to be breaking down famous movie scenes with animals in them. So join me for the breakdown. Here we go. Crocodile Dundee. Oh, I know this scene. This is a classic. First of all, the old Land Cruiser. I have a car just like that, actually. I learnt to drive on a car like that. Okay, so far this is real. This is shot, I would think, in the Northern Territory. It's supposed to be based in the Northern Territory, which is the top end of Australia. And basically, water buffalo, they're an introduced species. They're non-native, but they're everywhere. And they're crocodile food. Crocodile Dundee, I feel like it's, for a lot of Americans particularly, it was kind of like their first introduction to Australia, I think. And then the second introduction to Australia, which I think is probably a more accurate introduction, was from my dad, was probably for most Americans. And there are parts to it that are legit. There are some parts I watch and go, okay, that's a pretty good depiction of the people or the animals or what have you. But, I definitely liken like my family's story and my dad to that, except he wasn't out to get the crocodiles, he was saving them, So a little different. I mean, I've had this exact thing happen to me. They will sometimes you get a big group of them and they will not get out of the way. Here we go. First of all, they got a very, very calm water buffalo, because a grumpy water buffalo, ooh, yeah, you'd know about it. Oh, he'd charge you hardcore. To be honest, I mean, if we're talking about on land, a water buffalo definitely poses more threat than a crocodile. In the water, obviously, different story. Yep. Can't forget the eye contact. This scene is so fun. I love it. But I don't want to burst any bubbles. But unfortunately, this is a very good example of movie magic. This is not something, I wish you could do that with a buffalo. There's two things that I think are funny about this. Okay, first of all, if you to approach a water buffalo like that, if he's going to let you get that close, there's a good chance he's either going to charge you or he's going to take off in the other direction. So this is obviously a buffalo that is well-trained and very friendly. But the other interesting thing is, what he's trying to do here is get past the water buffalo. Except what he's done is he's just put the water buffalo to sleep right in the middle of the road. It's a little counterproductive there, Dundee. Wouldn't you put your finger over here so that the cow gets out of the road? I don't know. But we don't argue with Dundee. But anyway, unfortunately, no, that is not something you can do. And I know that because I can't believe I'm telling you this. I have tried it. I watched that scene and I went, I wonder if you can do this. And I tried it on a water buffalo. Doesn't work. There are a couple of animals that will go into what's called tonic immobility. Tonic immobility is basically a state that certain animals will go into. It's sort of a state of torpor where they will, I think there's still science going into exactly why it's caused. But on some animals, like for example, sharks, when they're flipped upside down, for whatever reason, they just go they're almost completely just unable to move. They're just completely unable to move. It's really, really a strange phenomenon. But so it is possible, but not with water buffalo, unfortunately. Chickens are another animal that can be hypnotized to an extent. And it's actually something very similar to that. You bring a point from their beak to the ground and you can actually hypnotize them. I haven't tried it. I have no desire to hypnotize an animal. That's not my job. I believe that if you are working with any animal, you should be working with it in a way that is respectful, that's approaching it in a way that you don't need to hypnotize it. But the reality is, I've had this happen before. Big animals in the middle of the road, water buffalo, all sorts. If you just very, very slowly approach them, they'll just walk the other direction. So I think if he had just slowed the car right down and kept moving forward, that thing would have gotten out of the road. But I suppose if you're Crocodile Dundee, it looks a bit cooler to get out and do the little do the little trick. Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Ah, oh, what a classic. Most of those are actually real snakes, which is interesting. A lot of those are real snakes. I'm trying to see what species. I think we've got, pause here. That's a rubber boa, ball python, and a corn snake. So there's like 3 different species in there so far. I don't know where they are. I assume it's somewhere like Egypt, I think, is where they are. You would not have, okay, half of these species are from like Indonesia, or one of them is from America. These species don't exist here. You do get cobras, actually, in Egypt, big hooded cobras. But you would really never see a congregation of snakes like this anywhere. Even a snake like a rattlesnake, which is known to den in very big numbers, even then, you wouldn't get this many. And just for that many snakes to just be chilling out in some super ancient tomb, they really have no reason to be doing that. Oh, this is interesting. Stop there. Okay, that's not a snake. That's a legless lizard. This is a fun fact. I never noticed this until now. Okay, so the larger snakes in this scene, like you can see one very easily in the top right hand of the screen here, that is not a snake, it's a legless lizard. You know how you can tell? Because there's a little tiny hole at the back of its head, which is an ear. Those are its ears. And snakes, true snakes, do not have ears. Legless lizard, it is a lizard that is like any other lizard, except it's evolved with no legs. But the fact that it has ears means it's not a snake, it's a lizard. So some of those are actually lizards. There you go. Aren't they cute? First of all, if it's a spitting cobra, the first thing I'd be doing, I wouldn't be looking at it like this, I'd be closing my eyes. Many cobras can actually spit venom with incredible accuracy into a predator's eyes. And you can tell that cobra, if it was, I don't think that is a spitting cobra, but if it was, you can tell he's about to spit because the hood is out. Cobras look like any other snake, but when they're threatened, they splay the hood out, and that means they're ready to spit venom at you. If it does make contact with the eyes, very bad. My dad's been hit in the face by a spitting cobra in the Masai Mara in Africa. It was not a pretty sight. You will lose your vision if left unchecked. I've been in this situation many, many times with a hooded cobra that's in strike position. All you do is just back down and move the other direction, and they chill out instantly. That's a beautiful snake. Snakes don't make that noise, but okay.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
The Meg. Oh, I do a great Jason Statham impression. Watch this. Ready? just imagine I'm bald. Okay. And British. It's a megalodon. Yes. That was pretty good, right? There we go. Thank you. Thank you. So, let me just preface this. The Meg, you have no idea how happy I would be if a megalodon was real. If we found an actual megalodon, I would be the first in that. I probably wouldn't even be in a tank. I would be right in there with him with my camera taking pictures of him. Oh, that would be awesome. Funny thing with sharks, people think that this is how sharks act. They're just gonna try and kill you. Not at all. They're like the chillest animal in the world. If you know their body language, if you understand how to work with them, you're respectful of that animal, and you're in the right conditions, you'd be able to, I reckon, I'd swim with one, 100%. Anyway, let's watch this.
Okay. Wow. I'm going to try to hit it in the eye. Damn it.
Uh-oh, look out. Here he comes. Okay, pause here. As you can imagine from this film, there are some slight scientific inaccuracies. The biggest of which being that Megalodon hasn't been on the planet for millions of years. The likelihood of a shark that big still kicking is very, very slim. But even if an animal like this did exist to this day, it would not behave like that. Would it possibly see an inanimate object in its environment and want to have a look and test what it is? Sure, it might have a little nibble, have a little look, but it is actively hunting and trying to eat this cage, which a shark would not do. If that shark feels the hard perspex glass against its teeth, knows that it's not a food item, it has no reason to try and eat it. I've spent a lot of time with what would really be the closest thing to a megalodon, which is a great white shark. I've done a lot of diving with them, and they're an interesting animal where you never see them coming. They're incredible at camouflage. I've been in open water, 360-degree view, looking all over the place. You never see one approaching. They're just all of a sudden, they're there. And it's a little bit spooky, but the interesting thing is, if you maintain eye contact with them, they know that you're watching, and they know to keep you at a bit of a distance. There's this sort of mutual respect. You look at them, they look at you. As long as you're watching, you're tracking them, you're reading their body language, you're really in no danger. That's not to say people should just start jumping in with sharks. Certainly not. It's something that only trained professionals should do. But a megalodon, you could honestly probably swim open water with one, and there's a good chance it wouldn't even try and eat you. And if there was a megalodon alive, geez, let me know, because I'd be the first in there. That would be awesome. Happy Feet. I love this movie.
Gloria, all my life I've wanted to say that you're so...
Wait, okay, this is actually kind of cool. They've done this really well in this movie. The plumage in the penguins is perfect. Like, it's bang on, and it's really amazing to see an animated movie that has animated the down, the kind of like proto feathers that the penguin chick here has. It's absolutely stunning. But you notice how the female penguin has got those, it almost looks like the surface of a seal. Those feathers are incredibly small, they're tight, they're narrow, and they create like this slick sort of surface. When you feel a penguin, it feels like a greased watermelon. Like, they are just so hydrodynamic. But when they're chicks like this, they're really not going to be swimming around much. Absolutely, penguins are all going to mature at a slightly different age. I think they're kind of leaning into the fact that he's a bit of a kind of runt to the litter. He's a bit of a late bloomer. I think they're kind of leaning into that. He probably took a little bit longer to get his adult plumage than normal, but that's okay. That's for the sake of the movie, it's okay. He'll get there.
Fish.
Oh, fish!
Oh. This is exactly what they look like when they frenzy feed like that.
Gloria, you got one?
Nope, not this time.
You have it.
Thank you, Mumble, but it's yours.
I want you to have it.
No, you caught it, you eat it.
I want you to have it.
Get back here!
I think those are petrels. They're supposed to be petrels, I think. The way that they've animated the penguins when they're catching fish is like bang on. This is exactly what they look like. They are so hydrodynamic. They're so incredibly well adapted swimming underwater. They're just so fast. And you see when they stand like that like you can tell they've really done their research. They stand with their little feet in like a little triangle pattern, and they turn their toes up so they can actually keep the egg right underneath them. It's really quite amazing. That incredible like choreography of those penguins moving in unison, that is not far from the truth. That is definitely possible. You know, I don't know if they're like gonna talk to each other and plan on doing a little love heart dance, but you know what? Strange things have happened. I've watched penguins hunting underwater, I've watched them feeding, and I've watched them frolicking with each other. That is exactly how they move. Absolute poetry in motion. But those birds that I think kind of picked him up out of the sky, I don't know exactly, but it looks like they're petrels, which is a really cool, like massive species of Antarctic bird. And we actually just recently rescued an injured petrel at our wildlife hospital, rehabilitated it and released it back out into the wild. That's something we do quite a lot there. We've seen those birds there quite a bit. They're a big bird and they are incredible fish specialists, but even 3 of them combined ain't gonna lift a baby penguin. I think that's a little bit above their pay grade. That would have to be a bird that's really, really, really strong. They're absolutely capable of catching big fish and big prey, but definitely not a penguin.
Take the stupid fish.
Oh, okay.
Oh, absolutely. I can see penguins being very generous with each other. The bond that penguins will have, and also the incredible maternal instinct and the incredible way that a parent will care for a chick. They'll go to massive lengths to get food for them, to catch fish for other penguins. Absolutely. But if anything, I would genuinely probably see it more the other way around. If Mumble still looks like a chick, it would make more sense for an adult penguin or an adult-looking penguin to be trying to get food for him, not the other way around. But he's no ordinary penguin chick. Okay, so fun little fact about this movie as well. My dad plays the voice of an elephant seal in Happy Feet. He also plays an albatross as well that was, I think it's in an extra scene from like the full director's cut. But yeah, he plays one of the elephant seals. So this is a very special movie. I grew up watching this movie. I love it. It's really, really cool. I love when movies like this give people, especially kids, like this really kind of personal, intimate connection with one particular animal. Like, I think it made an entire generation fall in love with penguins, which are an animal that is under threat in a lot of their range. I mean, climate change is having a huge effect on penguin populations, bird flu as well. So this is, I think it's really cool and really important when movies shine a positive light on animals. I think it's really important. Kangaroo Jack. I've never watched it. So many of my friends, it's like their only introduction to Australia is through Kangaroo Jack. First of all, why is it wearing a sweater? I have so many questions here. Oh. That is actually very accurate, because a lot of the time in movies or like pop culture, people think of kangaroos boxing. People think kangaroos will box and they'll punch you, right? That's not really how it works. The reason why there's that misconception around a kangaroo punching you is because when 2 male kangaroos will fight for dominance, they use their arms to kind of size each other up. They're not actually punching each other. They're sort of grasping, grabbing, hitting, and then they get to a point where they can lock arms, then they lean back on their tail, and the real devastating blow comes from the legs, comes from the feet. They lean back and boom, they kick really, really hard. And the male is actually like evolved so that kick won't kill him, you know? And they will battle it out to decide who is the dominant male. And so that's actually accurate. If a kangaroo was gonna try and get you, he wouldn't be punching you, he'd be kicking you. But I will say, the only time that a kangaroo would ever use any sort of, I guess, defensive action toward a human being is if it feels threatened or cornered, or if you try to put a sweater on it, which is clearly what they've done. So honestly, warranted. If I was that kangaroo, I'd do the same thing. Okay, let's fast forward. Oh!
Look at this fella move, man.
Interesting little fun fact here. They're obviously moving really, like, this looks ridiculous, right? Like, they're full pace in a Jeep, and this thing's still out in front of them. That is accurate. That's completely accurate. They can travel incredible speeds. And when you see that leap, if anything, that's actually not exaggerating. That's underdoing it. That's underselling just how far they can leap. An adult male red kangaroo, which is the largest species of kangaroo, which is that one that they're going after, can leap somewhere around 25 to 30 feet in one single bound. Think about that. That's like the length of your kitchen in one go. Interestingly too, kangaroos will only move one of two ways. They'll hop, or they'll do this little hobble along the ground when they're just walking. They actually use less energy, and it is more efficient for them to bound at full speed than walk. Isn't that amazing?
As it turns out, this is hard.
Oh, those are termite mounds. What they just blitz through, and they're chasing that kangaroo. Those are termite mounds. And those look to be real termite mounds as well. They're these massive dirt structures that termites will create, and they house their entire colony in these big termite mounds. And this is classic of the Australian bush, like that outback where they are. It looks like they're somewhere near like kind of Uluru, Alice Springs, like right in the red center of Australia, full of red kangaroos, and there's these termite mounds everywhere. Oof, if you ran into a termite mound in a car like that, for real, mate, it'd be termite mound 1, car 0. I think you'd be in a bad state. One that big, oh yeah, that'd come straight through the windshield. It doesn't feel like dirt, it feels like cement. If you ran into that, one of that size in a car like that, yeah, I don't think you'd be going much further. The Lion King.
Hold on! Help is coming!
Simba! Come to me, son! Jump!
Lions are very interesting. They are a fiercely protective animal. You know, particularly that protection and that real sense of care comes usually more from a lioness, comes more from the female, the mother to the cub. A male lion that is related to its offspring, that is the father of that cub, would definitely, you know, be protective for sure. But it's also very true on the flip side. The two males that are fighting, the two males that don't like each other, and this one male lion killing the other, is not completely inaccurate. Sometimes big male lions will form what's called coalitions, almost like a pride, but just within large males, and they'll work together. But sometimes males will come together and they will fight each other, and lions can fight to the death. Another interesting thing is a large male lion with offspring that is not its own. That male lion would absolutely pose a threat to those offspring. The Lion King definitely has a pretty accurate look at the social dynamics of lions. It's actually pretty bang on. It's pretty interesting. The fact that little Simba never really trusts Scar, you know how he's always kind of like, I don't know about this guy. That is 100% accurate. If I was that bird, I would be walking on eggshells. I will say there are definitely like harmonious relationships that form out in the African bush. And that bird is the messenger for Scar, you know? And that is definitely true. There are birds that you will hear out on the African savannah that will make alarm calls. If there's another animal in the area, they will call out and they'll say, look out, there's a hyena there. You know what I mean? And that sort of call is often an indicator to other animals to say, ooh, could be a lion nearby. Ooh, there could be a hyena nearby. And it sort of puts everything on alert when a bird like that makes an alarm call. So Zazu here sort of being the messenger of danger is very true. And that's exactly how, you know, these hornbills would work out in the wild. They'll send off an alarm call if there's danger in the area. And a lion would end up inadvertently working alongside that bird. If a big lion hears an alarm call from that bird, they're going to put themselves on alert and think, ooh, there could be another predator in the area, possibly another rival male. So yeah, the animals in the African bush definitely use birds like that as like a first alarm system. Well, thank you very much for coming with me to break down some famous movie scenes and to chat wildlife. It's been fun. I'll see you next time, GQ.